This is the lawsuit the Watchtower Society never wanted you to read. A 33-page complaint filed in the Southern District of New York, detailing alleged abuse, cover-ups, secrecy, and a centralized structure operating from the shadows. And if the final allegations stand, this could be the first existential threat the Jehovah's Witnesses has ever faced. If you're new here, welcome to Tell Me Dr. K, a channel manipulative religious leaders we should never discover. I'm Dr. K, a theologian and a consultant. If you crave for deep dives that deal with topics like this one, subscribe and smash the notice bell for more. Today we are breaking down the case of Stella Christine Gomez de Souza's versus the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. A lawsuit seeking not less than $100 million in damages. And more importantly, what this case could mean for the future of the Watchtower Society itself. Is this the beginning of the end? According to the verified federal complaint, Stella alleges that beginning at the age 12, she was repeatedly abused over the course of nearly a year by a ranking Jehovah's Witnesses official, Circuit Overseer Angelo Reviazzo, a man described in the filing as a senior minister entrusted with supervising multiple congregations. Now, this isn't just an allegation of one man's misconduct. It is an allegation of system failure. It doesn't just cover one person. It covers the entire system presided over by the governing body of the Jehovah's Witnesses, the cover-up mechanism. Now, what happens next is where the lawsuit shifts from tragedy to indictment. Stella had reported the abuse as early as 2012. She brought messages, evidence to congregation elders. According to the lawsuit, the elders told her to remain silent to protect Jehovah's organization, discovered involvement of authorities, pointing her instead to the internal processes, transferred the accused overseer to another congregation within days. Something, according to the complaint, cannot be done without the approval from the Watchtower's New York headquarters. This is the shocking part of this complaint. What happened to Stella? She is the one who lost the privileges in the congregation, not the adult who allegedly abused her. And to make matters worse, rumors spread throughout the congregation, blaming her instead of protecting her. She repeatedly tried to seek help and was met with silence. Not just an ordinary silence, but an industrial-grade silence, as her advocate now describes it. Now, this is a pattern of the Jehovah's Witness. This is not an isolated instance. It is a pattern. It is engineered in the Watchtower Society culture. Here are some clips.
These children, now grown up, are speaking out about an institution they believe to this day is failing to protect young people from predatory paedophiles and to learn from mistakes of the past. Emily, who doesn't want to be identified, was sexually abused from the age of 4 by a ministerial servant of the Jehovah's Witnesses in Loughborough. Aged 8, she reported it to church elders, those in charge of governing and disciplining the congregation.
At that point, I had a conversation. I was very young and sort of said, I don't like the way he touches me.
What followed was a series of failings that allowed him to continue sexually abusing children for years to come, which victims say is a larger cultural problem within the organisation.
In fact, in a way, her own world had already ended. Since she was a child, she says, she had been abused by someone she should have been able to trust the most.
Can you talk to me about the kind of abuse that you suffered?
Sexual abuse from my father. The abuse started as soon as I was born until I was approximately 14 years old.
Tricia says her mother suspected something was going on and went to the church elders for advice.
They basically told her that she wasn't fulfilling her wifely duties and that she had to be a more submissive wife and make her husband happier.
She's told you need to be servicing your husband more?
Yeah.
And where does that sit in your heart, and how does it sit?
It's heavy. I've gone through bouts of severe depression where I felt like ending my life because I was so unheard when I was basically screaming for help as a child.
Eventually, Tricia found the courage to go to an elder herself when she was 12. Help is not what she found.
And I explained to him what was going on, and he said, I don't have any proof and I don't have any witnesses, so I need to respect my family and not to bring it up again.
You told an elder that your dad was sexually abusing you, and he said, show us the proof?
Mm-hmm. They put the onus on the victim to produce 2 credible eyewitnesses to their assault. And by credible eyewitnesses, they mean other Jehovah's Witnesses that saw it.
My grandfather died at a really, well, for me, a really young age. And the thought that I could see him again was one of my driving forces to be the best Jehovah's Witness that I could be. And to do that, you know, you spend your time, you spend your energy, you go out and you talk to people, and you try to bring them into the fold.
Candace's door-to-door minder was this man. Jonathan Kendrick was 41 years old in 1995. Instead of taking Candace to preach Jehovah's word, he took her to his own house, repeatedly, for more than a year.
How old were you?
I was 9.
Can you give me a sense of what happened when you were a 9-year-old girl?
I was taken advantage of. My innocence was taken away.
Her innocence may have been taken away, but her fight most definitely was not. Candace kept the abuse secret for years, but when she was 16, she searched Kendrick's name online and found this, a public child abuse database. He was a convicted child molester. She knew she had to speak up.
The sense of guilt that I had felt, I think, had pushed me to trying to prevent this from happening to other children.
Candace reported her allegations to an elder. It didn't go well.
You walked in and said to the elders, I'm also a victim. I am also a survivor of this man. And what did they say to you?
I was literally told, quote unquote, what do you want me to do? Start a holy crusade?
Months passed and Candace was finally summoned by the elders. They told her they had interviewed Jonathan Kendrick.
And he said he didn't do anything, so there's nothing that we can do. You know, and so that's where that terrible, hideous 2-witness rule comes into play.
The 2-witness rule, a Bible-inspired doctrine that dictates elders cannot discipline someone unless there are 2 witnesses to the alleged sin.
The second predator, same pattern. Just a year later, in 2013, the complaint alleges Stella encountered another elder, Ademo Batista, who initiated inappropriate communication with her while she was still a minor. Stella allegedly showed the messages to the elders. According to the lawsuit, she was told, sadly, that this is what happens to you when you're too pretty. They blamed her for being pretty. And this is Jehovah's organization, an organization whose members are waiting to survive Armageddon, an organization that is better than any other organization, the one Jehovah is using to communicate with the people upon planet Earth. Shockingly, Batista was later promoted. The global chain of command. Here is where the case becomes globally significant. The lawsuit outlines how Jehovah's Witnesses operate under a strict top-down hierarchy with the governing body in New York controlling ministerial appointments, discipline, reassignments, internal judicial processes, how abuse allegations are to be reported or not reported worldwide. These points are stated directly in the complaint. Internal guidelines cited in the document show policies that, according to the filing, discourage reporting abuse to secular authorities and instead required the elders to contact branch officers first. This demonstrates a centralized system of cover-up. If these allegations are validated, could be interpreted in the court as machinery of concealment. And this is where the risk against the Watchtower becomes unprecedented. The New York negotiation. After years of trauma, Stella moved to England. In 2023, her abuser was arrested and later convicted in Brazil. In 2025, the complaint alleges that the Watchtower representatives flew from New York to meet her in person. She claims one representative told her, "The governing body is aware of your case. Whenever you want a monetary, they will agree on. Just give us a number," as summarized in the lawsuit. She was later offered $50,000 according to the filing. She declined, and instead she filed a lawsuit of not less than $100 million US. Implications. Is this lawsuit the beginning of the end of the Watchtower Society? Now, it's important to understand that this lawsuit is not like other lawsuits that the Watchtower Society has faced in the past. This is a grand lawsuit. Why so? Because it directs targets, number one, the Watchtower Pennsylvania, number two, the Watchtower New York, number three, the governing body itself. And it ties their authority directly to alleged global patterns of concealment. Now, here is the danger. If the court accepts the allegation that the governing body exercised centralized control, as the complaint argues, using internal policies and documented approval structures, it opens a door to a number of things. Number one, civil RICO-like arguments, mass liability for global abuse cases, discovery of confidential internal documents, disposition of governing body members, potential financial destabilization, and finally, the collapse of public trust. The organization has survived many lawsuits, but this one strikes at the core of the governing body. Is this the beginning of the end? Only time and the federal court system can answer that. Now, if you want an ongoing coverage of the lawsuit, breakdowns of filings, and update on the Watchtower organization, subscribe and smash the notice bell for more. In addition, share this video and drop your thoughts in the comments. If you have enjoyed this deep dive, like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload another video, you'll receive a notification. Now, if you're interested in watching other videos where I've covered the allegation of the Jehovah's Witnesses abuses, click on this link.